So, listen, this wonderful. It's wonderful to be welcoming all of you. It's wonderful to be here to honor Ellie for everything he has done over the last 43 years. Uh, and it's wonderful for me to be here because Ellie's strength. And and it's sort of personal to be able to say a few words. He, as as we said, Ellie joined Columbia in the 70s, 1976, and rose through the ranks, joined as a faculty member, got tenure, became full chair professor, founded CITI in the early 80s, 1983. And you should know that, business schools don't have centers that focus on the topics that Ellie pursued for the last 4 decades here. Uh, it's somewhat unique. I mean, there are people study information systems in some different way. Obviously later on they were studying e-commerce. Then, media programs got developed here. They developed ours. But in some sense, a center that thematically addresses these topics so deeply actually is unique. The other thing that you should know, and I'm sure you all do, is that Ellie he has brought in, I think, around $8 million of grants to the university, to the business school. And potentially that may amount for about 30 to 50% of the grants that we have received in the last federal day. Just Kids gets a lot of grants, Eliham gets a lot of grants, and pretty much nobody else gets a grant. So I think we would love it if more people did what Ellie was doing, but I think uh, that that tells you something. But the thing that I wanted to really talk about uh, is how entrepreneurial Ellie has been his career within this, what he has contributed to the school, the thousands of students, the hundreds of courses that he has taught, the programs that he has launched, and then even more interestingly, how he has always been looking into the future. He came in the 70s. We were facing New Jersey. New Jersey is right there. As you know, the digital revolution that we're living through right now was sort of invented in New Jersey, the beautiful state of New Jersey, in the late 40s. The invention of the transistor, and about a year later, the blueprint for digital communications by Claude Shannon. Both of these things happened at the Bell Labs. And if you think about the combination of semiconductors and our ability to process information digitally, and the theory of digital communication, how we communicate through zeros and ones, these two things have driven the world in the last 75 years. ARPANET was basically in its nation state in the late 60s. TCP/IP was being formed. We have one of the fathers of TCP/IP. I have a very autonomy here on the monitor. But all of 1970s when Ellie came here, these were all early innings, and he very quickly lapsed on into this area and started sort of pursuing it over the span of decades, anticipating policy issues, anticipating different uses of these new technologies, anticipating decisions that we will have to make 5, 10, 15 years into the future, and in some sense, galvanizing that work through CITI. Many of you have been part of that journey with him, but I think it is, the number of books that he has written, the number of articles that he has written, and more importantly for us, the things he has done in the classroom and how he has impacted the thousands upon thousands of students that have come through his tenure here at the business school. So I think, this is sort of a unique, in some sense, mark. The other thing that I want to say, uh, and many of you probably know, I'm scanning here the room to see whether we have some of our policy people. There's one trustee there in the back of the room, but Ellie has been also deeply involved in policy, both helping our city and state, but also the country, but then separately, deeply involved in policy issues at the universities. He was a long-time tenure of what we call our university senate, representing the business school. In there, he was chairing the budget committee for quite some time, the benefits committee, and I think he was an incredibly sharp, often critical. That's why I was scanning the room to see who is here. But always constructive. And, his intellect dissecting the problem and actually uncovering issues and challenges, but also opportunities for how the university can benefit. More recently, and something that is actually important to the university, he has also really been involved in thinking about academic freedom, free speech issues within the university and our community. And he has been galvanizing our work in that space. He has sort of co-founded and co-chairs the Columbia chapter of the so-called Heterodox Academy, which in some sense is a champion for free speech on campus, and something that we need. And so he has been a force of nature at the school, a force of nature in the country, in his research domain, and within the university. Now he is he's a person that, when I came in, Jason was mentioning that I have a PhD in electrical engineering. I came in the late 90s. My thesis was really, the 90s was a period that obviously the internet was mature at that point in time, but we were really studying the mathematical properties of the protocols underlying sort of packet routing, designing better routers, thinking about the stability of TCP/IP, things that a lot of you have been discussing through the decades. So that was the area of my work. Okay, I was a control theorist that was working on stochastic networks, and it's when I came to the business school, as you can imagine, I was kind of a rare breed in some sense. There was no other faculty member with that type of background. And one of the first individuals randomly that came to me and started talking was Ellie. I heard you work on X, Y, and Z, and in some sense we have common interests. So that started 25 years or so ago. And it has been wonderful to see everything that he has done through the years. Now, I want to recognize his lovely wife, who is back there, who is also a friend, Nadine Strossen, who's I'm sure a lot of you know, but Nadine is a force of nature as well. So it's and I want to end with a little tidbit. Many of you may know that Ellie is also a pilot. Does everybody know in here that he's a pilot? Okay. Has anybody been with him on his plane? There you go. All right. So he keeps inviting me. We're neighbors in Connecticut. So he keeps inviting me to go for a ride, and my wife keeps looking at Ellie. He's like, "No way." I'm like, but at some point in time, you'll invite me when Nikki is not in front, and then I'll have to oblige. So I hope you have a wonderful day. But mostly, I want to say thank you, Ellie, and congratulations for everything that you have done.